What's up, guys? We are here at the Hills Church in Evansville, Indiana. We are going to do a tech tour today with their tech director, Josh Howard. Let's go inside and meet him. All right, hey, what's up, guys? We're here with Josh, the tech director of the Hills Church here on Green River Road. Josh, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Hills Church, like how it started and just how it's going?
Yeah, the Hills started in 2018. Was kind of a split off from Crossroads. Started meeting at the Gathering in downtown Evansville. Went to Old National Events Plaza roughly 3 months after it was started.
Okay.
Then went to COVID hit and everything. Went to the FEC, Newburgh. Met in the movie theater for I don't even know how long, year and a half, and then went back to Old National. So we had a pastor change in there as well. So went to Old National, then came back here and built our own complex, and here we are.
And you said that was right before Easter of this year?
Yeah, so our first Sunday was the weekend after Easter.
Okay. And how many people do you guys run usually?
Roughly, I don't know what today's number was. Last week was 1,400-ish.
Oh, well, do you guys just do that in one service? Or is
No,
it
we have
split
three
services?
services. So we run three services, 8, 30, 10, and 11:30.
And they're all mirrored, I take it?
All mirrored. Yep. We pack them in. We, as a volunteers, serve all three. We don't change volunteers from week to week. We change them from week to week, not service to service. Yeah, so it's a quick turnaround. We have a roughly 62-minute service, and 28 minutes between services. And
so you have to wait to eat until all three of those are over?
Well, we have a cafe here as well, so it's guys can grab food. We have a green room upstairs. The guys, we have snacks and stuff in if guys want to.
Okay.
So it's it's a crazy day on Sundays, but it's worth it.
That's awesome. Do you want to tell us, I guess, a little bit about this LED wall and your line arrays?
Yeah. So this is the lobby, the atrium. This is a Unilumen 2.5, so it's a 2.5 pixel pitch.
Okay.
We got it used in an auction, I think in Nashville, PRG auction. So just kind of a high res LED wall, and it's roughly, I'm trying to remember how wide it is. And it's 10 by 6, 10 by 7 panels, so 200 inches by whatever, 100. Yeah. So the arrays, those are just RCF HCL10s. They're 4 boxes per side. We actually have the 2 top boxes. We shut them off because they're kind of shooting the wall. And we just threw them up there. We had them. That's kind of our system we take out if we go out on the lawn and do stuff. We had a big fireworks display out here Labor Day weekend, and that's what we pull those down, take them outside, and use those outside.
So do you guys you broadcast your service out here, or is it just the logo?
Yeah. So this once service rolls around, this will flip over to our program feed, and this is kind of an overflow. People that if it's a little too loud, they'll come out here and a little quieter environment, that type of stuff.
All right, well, maybe we can go take a look inside the sanctuary.
Awesome.
Cool. So do you want to kind of tell us about your PA and your speaker system here?
So in the room, this is a RCF rig, partially RCF rig, I should say. We've got 2 arrays, so 2 4-box arrays, 1 on each side. These are the HCL28As. So like I said, we have 4 per side. We have a center fill in the room, which is a RCF TT25 something. I don't know. It's so it'll just catch the first 4 or 5 rows in the middle, just to kind of help fill it in. Sub-wise, we currently just run JBL, SR, whatever they are, SR40, whatever. Anyways. I've had too many JBL numbers in my head. But no, so the subs were kind of reused from when we were mobile. Budget didn't really allow to go full-fledged and, hey, let's put a whole rig in. So, yeah.
So is that something you want to change in the future then?
Yeah,
for sure?
There's lots of things I want to change, but It's all budget items. So
I
I
understand.
put in my request every year of capital items I want to replace, and see what
See
what
where it
happens.
goes.
And so subwoofers are expensive.
Yes,
so
they are.
We'll see how it goes.
See how it goes. And then you want to tell us about what processor you're running?
Yeah, so we actually, the processor's Backstage. We don't have a fancy processor. We just run a DBX Venue 360. It does what it needs to do. So it does fine. I mean, it's nothing,
that's all that
nothing
matters, right?
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
I
long as
don't.
it.
It's you don't have to. I mean, I would take a a Lake processor or whatever else, but it does its job, and it hasn't failed yet. So we'll see how next week goes. When I say this.
That's right.
But yeah, so we were on the Avantis console. We were while we were mobile, we were all Behringer. We had a started with an X32, then went to a wing. This is the first console that I was able to purchase. So I'm more of an Allen and Heath guy, so I went that direction. So got the Avantis. Overall it's a good console. They did a good job with it. So it has the deep plugins in it. So it's like I said, it's a fantastic console. So,
Was there any learning curve going over to the Avantis?
yeah, so we went from the wing to this, and I knew the wing, and I could not. I mean, I know Allen and Heath, but it was like it still took me forever to figure this out. And we really didn't have time to really play with the whole system. It was like we ran a rehearsal on Thursday before we moved in, and we were opening on Sunday.
Oh wow! So you guys kind of rushed into
So
it.
it was a
Or got
quick
rushed into
turnaround.
it,
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we run the Avantis. We also run Waves. We don't do a ton with Waves. I think I've got all vocals, bass, acoustic. That's all I run in Waves. Nothing crazy. We tune, and I know there's lots of conversations about tuning. We tune every week, which tuning can be good, tuning can be bad. So it's all depends on how you wanna look at it. It's just keeping reminding vocalists to that hey, this is to kind of just polish it off a little bit. It's not going to do your job for you. So
Exactly.
It's there's times that it goes astray, but we have really good vocalists. So those times are few and far between. Most of the time it's me. I hit the wrong key or something and tune them the wrong direction. Yeah.
So do you give them much reverb, or do you kind of keep that?
Yeah.
light?
So we run we just run them through a single reverb. We don't stack multiple reverbs or anything like that. The lead vocalist will get a delay on big moments.
Okay.
That's it. And those are all all these knobs are all my delays for each individual microphone. So I just set them up ahead of time, like, hey, these are my 3 or 4 lead vocalists, and I'll just manually, send them to some delay, nothing crazy. Just kind of make the big moments bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of that with the Waves. Like I said, we don't do much of anything. We run Smart as well. That's behind me, sitting over here. And this will be the everybody asks, what do we usually run? And it's like, today's a Sunday. We had service this morning, and I ran anywhere from 74 to 95-ish. I mix very dynamically. So there's times that I'm pushing the mains on the system up as the song builds. So
Okay.
It's something that we went to a conference in Atlanta at Passion, and that's kind of what they do. So we brought it back and we tried it, and there's a lot of benefit to it. We've seen the engagement just in the congregation go up drastically. I don't know if that's it, but we had a bunch of complaints about, it's too loud. Started in this. I don't think we've had a complaint since, so we'll have a complaint next week, I'm sure.
Knock on wood, right? But okay, that's smart.
So, yeah, that's smart.
Speaking of like volume and all that. Do you have any acoustic treatment here?
Yeah, we have some panels on the back wall. It's not a ton. It just kind of helps with reflections. We could probably put a lot more up, but we didn't spend the money on acoustician to come in and tell us, hey, you need this many panels. So we just kind of roughly calculated it on our own. It doesn't do too bad. It's not a dead room, which I don't want a dead room. I want to have a little life in the room.
Yes, sir.
And it's pretty good, I think. I mean, I don't know.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to move on up to?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about wireless gear.
Yeah,
if
the
you want,
wireless
since we're
gear.
Here.
Anything?
It's up to you.
A little bit.
So this is wireless gear. We run the QLXDs from Shure. So we have 11 of those receivers, and they're all fed through combiners and splitters. Same thing. We run the Sennheiser G3s for in-ears. Everybody's mono. There are 2 stereo packs that we run for guitarists. So all of our guitars ran in stereo, so we give them stereo packs just because.
Gotcha. I love how clean it is back here too.
Yeah, it could be a lot cleaner, but it works. We put all of our wireless gear here just because it was easier. We had room here, so threw it in. But we've got Wave server also over there. We actually run Waves through Dante, so we have a Waves bridge.
Okay.
So Dante out of the console into that converts it to WSG and so forth. But we also put, when we built the place, we put tie lines back and forth from front of house to backstage. So everything's digital except for we have actually copper tie lines. We have SDIs, Ethernet, and then XLR send and receive both. So
that's cool.
Those are, for the amount of money it took, we've used them multiple times for something. Like if I need to drop a line from backstage, it's easy. I'm not in a pull cable. We had Red Rocks come in. They needed a line, boom. We just ran a copper line straight through. So it was a very simple project.
And then I see you have like some storage down here.
Yeah,
just extra storage.
It's there. So we had rack space, so I had some drawers. I threw them in there.
Okay, so nothing specific in there.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
I think there's remotes in one, and I couldn't tell you what's in the other one.
Gotcha. Is there anything back here? Anything else back here you'd want to discuss? Tell us about?
I don't think so.
What about your Stream Deck? What do you use the Stream Deck
so
for?
Yeah, so there's everything in the building. Every monitor in the building is ran via a router. So rather than spend the money and go on like QSys and all that type of stuff to control the building, we're actually running on Companion. So the Stream Deck is kind of our panel control for that, but it also, so I can fire, this is all 70 volt stuff. I can change like the LED wall in the lobby. I can change signals from here.
Do it all from there.
Every Sunday during football season, we show NFL games in the lobby for after church. So I have a button that I hit that switches all the TVs over to the NFL games. It takes the array and changes it to one of the Roku inputs for audio. So it does all of it just off of one button press. So
that's awesome.
And it also, Companion turns the system on every day, shuts the system off every day. So it's not nobody has to come in and manually turn on TVs and all this stuff. So that's what it's for.
That's useful. All right, so do you want to kind of tell us about your lighting rig here?
Yeah, so we run Hedgehog 4. Great lighting console, does a lot for us. It takes a while to kind of figure out. Once you figure out this console will do anything you can ever do. So yeah, it's a great console. We love it. Probably will have to upgrade eventually, but for right now, this does perfect for us.
All right, what do you have over here on the monitor?
So this is just an extension monitor from the actual console. So it's just we can pull up different things. Like this is intensity, some effects, color, that type of stuff. So we can move stuff from this screen over here, and
makes it a little easier.
So,
and then you said this doesn't run the LED walls though, right?
So in a roundabout way, yeah. So this the way the kind of the architecture lays out is all of our lighting is programmed ahead of time. So we build cues, and so like this Sunday, there were 49 lighting cues for the service. So there's a lot of those are worship because there's multiple cues per song. This syncs with Ableton on stage where we play tracks via SMPTE. So this picks up SMPTE, and then this sends out MIDI. So it comes out in DIN, and then we convert DIN to network via the Mio, and it controls Pro Presenter on a computer we have just sitting here just because it was easy.
Gotcha.
And it just, all that does is we run signal all the way back to another processor, and that controls the 4 columns you see on stage.
Okay.
So,
but one person just runs both of these, though.
Yeah, this one really
you don't even touch, really.
Yeah, so we tell it what MIDI note to send, and it's just one through whatever, and it just goes.
Okay.
So we rarely have issues with it. So yeah.
And then do you want to talk about your camera setup here?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So we've got just Blackmagic Ursas as our kind of main follow cams. We also have one roaming camera. It's just a DSLR. It's a Canon R, I think. So I don't even know what lens we've got on it. But it does its job right now. We run it through a Teradek wireless unit. It does good. I mean, it works. We have another camera on the ground below us.
Okay.
It's a track cam. We can see it after a while, but it's another DS. No, it's a Blackmagic. It's a Blackmagic Pocket 6K. So it's just a dolly cam. Just somebody sits there and walks back and forth all service.
Okay. I guess you guys speak to them, tell them.
Yeah. So everybody has comms. The 2 stationary follow cameras have wired and clear comms, and then we have ear tech comms for everybody else. So.
What kind of lighting fixtures do you run here?
Yeah, so we our lighting is very hodgepodge, and we didn't have the budget to buy all new fixtures because lighting fixtures are crazy expensive.
Very expensive.
So we've got a lot of Martin fixtures, older Martin fixtures. We have 3 Martin profiles, the 2000 profiles, and then we have 10 Martin 101s, Mac 101s. They're just a wash, moving head, nothing crazy. And we have some Blizzard LB pars in the back. We do have some Chauvet Strike Saber blinders. They're on the front of the truss. I can see if I can turn them on. I've got to figure out which fader they are. Should be here. So those are blinders. We'll just use them a lot in use. Kids love them. So one cool thing about a lot of these fixtures, I bought them in an auction from actually the Army.
Oh,
so
really?
These fixtures were the fixtures that anytime that they would take a concert overseas, these fixtures would go, and that's what they use. So the cases that we have for these things are killer because they have like stickers from all over the world on them.
That's awesome.
So it's a cool little memorabilia type deal.
Do you guys run any haze or anything to go with the lights?
So we have a P-Soup hazer, sits backstage. It's a good hazer. I mean, you have your top end hazers, and it's one of the kind of the middle to upper, kind of with the MDG hazer. It's kind of in the same realm. It's a good hazer. We also have some Martin Mac 250s in the corners as well. There's some spots. So
awesome.
That's lighting. Nothing crazy.
Lighting.
But I guess I could tell you about our front wash. The front washes, those are just Source 4 Lecos. They have the color forward, I think is what it is. So they're actually LED. So they have just a unit that goes on a Source 4 body. And I think they have 26-degree lenses on them. So we just have them. They just provide a good, even wash across the stage. So I think there's 14 of them per wash.
It's a lot of lights. All right, so I guess we'll just start from, left to right or right to left. Do you want to tell us about these crowd mics?
So we have crowd mics on each side of the stage. We have a shotgun and a large diaphragm condenser. Shotguns are Rode shotguns. I could tell you the model. I've looked at it just a second ago. I can't remember. NTG something. And then the large diaphragm condensers are just cheap. I think a Behringer or something. They do the job. I mean, we could go spend the money on 414s, but you're talking thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
And it's like we have other places that it's like, hey, look, I'd rather spend the money here. So that's kind of a low priority. They do the job. They pick up the crowd for online, and that's all we're looking for. And they help with not having wedges on stage. Everybody uses in-ears, so it helps. They can put crowd mics in their ears to really kind of feel the room and get the natural reverberation. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Of the room.
Yes, sir. And you have one here, then you have just one more right on the
Yeah,
other
so we
side.
just have stage left and right mirrored. That's it. So we actually the shotguns point more in towards kind of the center section, and then the condensers kind of pick up the outer center.
Okay.
So.
And then I guess we'll just move on.
Yeah.
I'll step over on this side of you if you want.
Yeah. So the stage is
down.
always very fluid. We have keys here. This is just everybody thinks this is a keyboard. All it is it's a big MIDI controller. It's a Studio Logic. I think it's an SL88 key. MIDI controller. Everything comes from Ableton. I think he runs Alicia Keys right now.
Oh,
so it's unplugging. I don't know. But have a nano control. It can control all their stuff. So.
And you guys have a talk back here, or is that just a
nope.
regular mic?
So that's just a
usually?
regular mic. The only talk back we have is just our MD on the other side. When we get over there, I can show you that. Okay. Big weekends, we'll have multiple talkbacks so the whole band can communicate back and forth. But on a typical Sunday, we only have one talkback on stage.
Okay.
So.
I guess we'll
move around. We just have a bass rig. He's got some pedals. I don't know exactly what all he's got. They change all the time. So.
Tuner.
Yeah, I got a tuner. Yeah. So
that's basically just DI out.
So yeah, it's the tone hammer. It's a DI and some processing built in.
Gotcha. Is that the Hazer right there?
Yeah, this is a Hazer. This is the piece suit. We're gonna remove it. It's gonna go up above the screen on that side. Right now it works. It's just when it kicks on, there's a big plume that comes out until the fans can help disperse it.
Okay.
So this is a drum kit. It's a Franklin acrylic. It's a killer drum kit, killer sounds, microphone wise. Shure. There's some DPAs. We have a 52 kick out, a 91 kick in. Those are both Shures. We have a 57 snare bottom. I don't remember what we have on the snare top. I'd have to look. And then we've got these are just Audix condensers, nothing crazy for overheads. And then we have the DPA 4099s on the toms. So nothing crazy. It's got get a good drum sound. So yeah, that's pretty well. That's it with drums. We're on I remember what snare they got in right now. I'd have to look.
It looks like a Black Beauty.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Black Beauty.
Yeah. So
I see your LED
rotate.
strip here is on wheels. Do you ever move it, or does it stay stationary?
No, so they're made to move. So these are actually truss bases that we bolted some EMT conduit to, and then put some clamps on the back of Absen LED panels, and made it work. So these they can go anywhere on stage. We can move them around. That's why we kind of left them on casters for that reason. That way if we want to take them out to the lobby, we can take them out to the lobby. So
yes, sir.
They go through stage pockets and run up to a processor. So this is kind of our main guitarist. He's our MD as well. So he runs a Kemper now. We'll see if this changes, because you know how guitarists are. Seems like
that's true.
They love changing gear, which is, good for them. It's fantastic. He does this Kemper is amazing. He gives a great tone. But like I said, he's the MD as well, so he runs just a talkback with an Optigate on it. So can communicate with the band. He runs tracks and everything. So we run. Ableton runs via Dante. So they have. So we technically run 16 channels of audio out. A lot of it's just stereo channels. We don't need to run near that much, but we do. And they have a nano controller that they can adjust whatever they need to. So they can pitch a pad up or down. They can put filters on a pad. They can do whatever they need to. So
That's pretty useful.
Yeah,
Sure.
so it's a cool little rig.
All right, and
So
that's pretty much it for the.
the only other
platform,
thing
right?
that we can hit on. So we put when we built everything, we put stage pockets in everywhere. So like every stage pocket is. So you have like this is pretty well mirrored all the way across the stage. So you have 4 XLR inputs, 1 XLR output. You have Dante, a personal monitor, Ethernet cable, and then you also have DMX, 5-pin DMX. There are some SDI drops in other boxes. So we have kind of tried to make it where like, hey, if we ever, go and do this, we have plenty of spots that we can plug into. And we have, like I said, there's 7 stage boxes. There's a big one underneath the drums. So yeah, that's the only other cool little thing that makes our life fantastic whenever it comes to, because this stage moves every week. There's not, drums usually stay the same spot, but guitars move, keyboards move, so stuff gets, and it's so easy just because it's all 1 for 1, so these all have numbers on them, so 1 through 4, 5 through 8, and so it's easy just on the console to be like, oh, that's channel whatever, that's link channel whatever. So
Yeah, I noticed the bass DI there. So
this is actually, it says bass guitar. This is an acoustic drop. So it's still here. It didn't get pulled out from 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it. So like sometimes we run dual electrics. They're always stereo. We run every electric in stereo. But sometimes we'll have an acoustic. Sometimes we'll have a bass guitarist. So
it's nice to have a fluid band.
Yeah.
Change things up so you don't get in the same routines.
So yeah, we run, like I said, a lot of the SEV7s. Our worship leader, he actually runs a 58A. It just sounds better on him. But we have, our preach, and so we have a preach handheld and also a preach headset. The handhelds are 58, preach and host. The headset is a Sennheiser HSP that's been configured for a Shure pack as well. In-ear wise, so everybody runs just G4 Sennheiser packs. So we have 2 stereo mixes. So
do you guys buy the in-ears for the band, or do they buy their own? Or
it just depends. Some of them, like we have spare in-ears here, but a lot of people bring their own in-ears.
Okay.
We have, like, a lot of people got custom molds, so a lot of people bring their own stuff. So
okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else back here you want to?
This is just storage, microphone storage. There's a bunch of stuff. This
boxes.
is DI. Everything's back here. So we're actually in the process of renovating back here because this is a nightmare. But we got more DPA microphones that we can run for string instruments, brass, anything like that. So this is kind of this rack up here. We can talk about it. That's kind of our main backstage rack. So our processor lives up there. Our stage box lives up there. There's a router that's in there, LED wall processors. So there's 2 LED wall processors, one for the lyric strip above the drums, and then the other one is for the columns.
Okay.
So all that lives up there. We put it up in the air just because our space. There's not much backstage space, so we put that up in the air to try to get as much floor space as we can. All the trussing out front, or the lighting over the stage, is all in motors. So we can bring it down to work on it, and we can raise it back up. So
makes it easy.
That is fantastic. So especially when we're doing a set swap, it's just like we just come back here, drop the pickle controllers down, and just lower, bring everything down, work on it, and then raise it back up. So
that would be nice.
It is fantastic. So.
And then I noticed you also have a TV here for.
Yeah, this is
feed.
also this is multi-view. So a lot of it's just so they can see timers. We were just gonna put a confidence, but we've decided if camera ops are having issues with their camera, it's easy for them, a roamer, to come back here and be looking at their camera if they're having trouble. They can, rather than be just on comms talking all the time. So that's why we have multi-view.
That's nice.
So yeah, because we actually have a GoPro on drums for our drum cam, and they are very finicky. So it pops up on here, so you can actually mess with it and be like, oh, and you just pull a curtain back and you can mess with, okay, there it is. Now it's set. So rather than having to be talking the whole time, so.
Do you get any or very much good footage from the GoPro in here?
Yeah, it does okay. I mean, there's always better. Eventually, I want to get rid of all static cameras, just because we want every camera shot to have motion to it. So yeah, it does fine for what it is. We had the GoPro, so it works. I mean, and I'm being very picky when I'm like, I just want moving shots. That is a very picky thing, and it's just something that we're trying to do. And that's why we're going to go a different direction. But if it wasn't for that, we'd still.
I've been trying to get a GoPro in our drum cage for a while.
It works.
Now,
it works
for some
fine.
Good footage.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah. This is kind of our last cam. We originally had 2 roaming cameras. We pulled one out and turned it into a dolly system. So one of our volunteers owns a production company, had a dolly that he had laying around. He's like, hey, I don't use this thing. So he brought it in. We built this DIY track out of conduit, and it works. I mean, it gets some cool shots. So you just have a guy that just kind of walks the whole time, just back and forth, and you can get some cool looks with it. So it's for the price, it was fantastic. It was a great little deal. It adds a lot more dimension to our online stream. So yeah, it's a cool look.
What speaking of the stream, I forgot to ask earlier. Which one do you stream out of your 3 services usually?
Stream them all.
You stream all 3?
All 3. So we're going to revamp our online presence coming up, and we're going to go to like an online host moment. So we're going to look at potentially not streaming them all, maybe streaming the first one and replaying it, but at this point we stream everything.
All right, so this is your green room, you said?
Yeah, so this is kind of the room where musicians, vocalists, and production people are able to kind of come upstairs, kind of get away, especially being here for call times 6:45, 7 o'clock. So people are here from then until 1 o'clock, 1:15.
So they're here for a while.
So this is an area they can come up. Hey, we have some soda and stuff and some snacks. They can kind of come up here and hang out and kind of just chill for a little. We have some couches.
Gotcha. And then you have just a little keyboard. Is that just?
Yeah. So this is just a Casio keyboard. We have some guitars laying around. This is kind of a blank slate. We're in the process of figuring out some design for this, but this is kind of on Thursday they do band rehearsals, so the band's downstairs, and then vocally they come upstairs and they do all, and that's why the keyboard's up here. Our worship leader is keyboard, and kind of is his first instrument, so he plays keys, so he'll play up here. So, yeah, so that's a green room. We can kind of walk through. This gets into production. So this is video production, is all upstairs. So this back is just a video editing station. That's all this is. That's where Geo normally sits. Then we have 4 different positions up here. This is kind of our main switcher. This is just we run a Constellation 4ME. This is a 2ME panel. So he switches for the room, or online, and the room currently. We have another 1ME panel that sits back here that we're rolling out a online only position as well.
Okay.
So We got Pro Presenter, main Pro Presenter, in-room switcher, and then back here we've got online switcher, online Pro Presenter, and we also have a shader that sits back here.
So how many people do you have in here kind of usually on a typical Sunday?
Right now, in here, we usually have 2 to 3. That's getting ready to go up by 2 more. So
Okay.
it'll be anywhere from 4 to 5 every Sunday just in here. But yeah, so we built these desks. They're all custom, so they have backs that kind of fold down. You can get to everything. We just kind of came up with a design on our own and kind of put them together. Like I said, we run Pro Presenter. We have a DeckLink Duo card that comes on each of them. So we have 4 outputs of SDI on each one. So
And you guys do audio through
yeah.
live stream?
So this is broadcast audio. So we run Pro Tools. All audio comes up here via Dante. These are the Avid S1 controllers. Fantastic control source. It's by far the best. This is currently a Windows machine just because price-wise it was a lot cheaper than buying a Mac. Eventually we went to upgrade to like a Mac Studio or something. But this is, so this audio on a Sunday feeds all online in the lobby. So
Okay.
this guy feeds everything. So yeah, so this is so broadcast audio, nothing crazy, very basic, but it helps having a secondary room and a secondary audio guy and just for online. And we're still dialing it in. So up here at the top, this is our 70 volt system for the lobby, the bathrooms, outside. This is the processor for it. It's a Atlas IED Atmosphere, so it's an 8-zone processor, and then we have a QSC 8-zone 70 volt amplifier below it. These are just some Shure mics we've had before, so we have a ULX and an SLX. They're just handhelds specifically that just feed directly into the 70 volt system. So if we need a microphone for the lobby, we got a handheld, and this we actually have 2 antennas that hang out in the lobby as well, so we can use microphones out in the lobby wherever. And they just go through the 70 volt system, then go through the array, that type of stuff. Yeah, so we have, like I said, we have routers. This is a Smart Video Hub 40 by 40 up here. This is one of 3 routers we have. Backstage was a 20 by 20, and then up in the camera platform there's a 12 by 12. So every TV in the building has an SDI run to it. So we can put any video feed anywhere in the building. So it was a cool thing we did because we use it all the time for something. Below it, this is the Constellation 4ME switcher. Just fantastic. And then we just have a single hyperdeck that we just use to record a clean feed. And then we can store it online.
For like big services.
Yeah. So, and then we've got Roku's. We got a Loop media player. So the building's open for a community center all week. We have a playground downstairs. This has it's music videos that feeds into 70 volts is what that's used for. So we don't have to like play our own music. It's all a service that is 100% free to us. And that's what that's for. And then we stream via Resi. So we have a Resi, just array encoder that lives in this rack as well. So we also, on the back side of this rack, there is, I have to kind of work around here. So we have an Allen & Heath DX168 stage box. So this is like feeds, broadcast. It's their copper send back from Dante, and we've got our main outputs going to our stream and everything. So it's kind of the gist here. This other rack has got just all network switches, camera, DVR is over here. So yeah, a lot of networking stuff that is just we usually don't mess with too much. So yeah, that's kind of it for in here. It's It's very minimalistic, but it works. So we don't have to do anything crazy. So we didn't run everything back to one central location. We have 2 separate racks in the building, and we have fiber that ties everything together.
Okay. So we were here in your youth room, right?
So yeah, this is elementary room is what this is.
Okay. And can you tell us about your setup
Yeah,
here?
so audio console, we've got a Behringer wing. This is the wing we had in our main adult when we were mobile. So it got moved over here to Kids World. It is a lot more than what they need, but it was what we had, so we just kind of threw it in. Okay. So yeah, we run it. We run Pro Presenter. We run Light Key for lighting in here. Just have a open DMX dongle, nothing crazy. We also have a Decklink Duo 2 card in here as well that outputs. So we've got a LED wall in here. That's the same LED wall from the other side. This is the other half of it. We also have just 2 TVs. But yeah, we have some Mac 101s for lighting. We have some Rogue R1 washes. And then we have, I don't even remember what they're called for front lighting. They are the Elation something. So they're just our front wash. Nothing crazy in here, just pretty basic. PA-wise, they're the JBL Eons with single 18s on each side. So yeah, it's nothing crazy, but it works. We have some wireless mics in here. Everything's Shure. There's a rack back in this little room. If you guys want to see it, I can show it to you. But this has got, so we have an internal Dante card in here as well. So if we need to overflow in here, we can Dante a signal over to this console. So everything we can communicate back and forth audio-wise. So it's
that's nice.
Yeah, so it works. And this is kind of the other rack across the building. So this is fiber connected. So we've got, there's 2 rooms, one on each side of this wall. So you have our 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. They have a little XR12, just Behringer mixer that feed to 12-inch JBL Eon speakers. Then we have an S16 here that pulls in wireless. We have 4 XLX, 3 XLXD mics with a combiner that's got an antenna hanging out in the room as well, with a Novastar processor for the LED wall. So kind of just a little basic rack for the kids' room, but it does what we need it to do.
So can you kind of walk us through your process of getting new volunteers and how you train them here?
Yeah, so we don't, a lot of our volunteers come to us via word of mouth. We don't do a lot of volunteer pushes, and when the volunteer pushes we do every year, just from the church as a standpoint, not many people are like, oh, I want to go to production. That's where I want to go. So we do a lot of just word of mouth. Like our volunteers are tasked like, hey, go find me somebody. And our people, they go out and they find them and bring them in. And so once you like, hey, I'll sit down with them, do lunch, whatever, with a new volunteer, or just meet with them, and be like, hey, we'll kind of talk about their past, kind of what they know, knowledge stuff, and then a lot of our new volunteers will start. We'll throw them on a camera. They'll shadow somebody, a camera op for a couple weeks, and then we throw them to the wolves. I mean, I've got a philosophy that people are going to make mistakes, and it's okay. Of course, I want perfection, but we're never going to get perfection.
Exactly.
So it's one of those, I want to have a volunteer that feels like they've got a worth here, and I don't want to put them on a job where it's like, oh, you don't have to do, you have to press the button 5 times a service. So you're not going to keep a volunteer around if you're not tasking them something that's challenging. So there's issues because of the way we do that, but that's something that we're willing to sacrifice to make our volunteers feel like they're really contributing to the team. So we'll throw brand new volunteers 3 weeks in, they're running a camera on their own.
Do most of your volunteers usually have prior experience or anything, or do you
No, not really.
Fresh?
We rarely get volunteers that have experience. The only position that we really require experience is just front of house guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 front of house guys right now, and it's kind of a spot we were talking about church and vision, and just the whole atmosphere in the room is kind of a key with that. So we really want high caliber front of house people. Mm-hmm. So we really strive to be like, okay, this is a really important position that we really take our time of volunteers on. I'm not saying the other positions aren't important. It's just our overall vision of our church is a very clear, clean sound in the room. And that's why we really strive with excellence in that region.
And that kind of will segue me into my next question of like, do you have any advice for somebody trying to get into, sound or just live stream lighting, any of that? What advice would you have for somebody trying to get in?
Well, one good thing is now there is the internet, so it's a lot easier now than what it was whenever I started. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad. I say it's easier now, but I don't know. There's times where it's the best way to learn is just getting behind a console and making mistakes and figuring it out. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life behind an audio console, but even the best sound guys in the world make mistakes, but they just are able to hide their mistakes, and that's what we're kind of striving for. So yeah, just taking your time, really studying, and find somebody to mentor under. If you can find a fantastic, if you're a camera op and you're a roaming camera op and you want to be excellent in your position, find somebody that is really good in their position and have them pour into you. Front of house people, if you want to be a front of house person, find somebody that does front of house that's really good at it and sit there and just watch them and drive them crazy, ask them questions, and let the people that have been around the block really pour into you.
Okay. So, all right, thanks for having us, Josh. Can you tell us where we can find more information on your church?
Yeah, so we're online at thehillschurch.com, and then on all socials at The Hills Online. I think it's all the handles. So find us on there. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So we're on all socials.
And that concludes our tech tour here at the Hills Church. If you'd like to have your church featured on one of these videos, please feel free to leave a comment or a like down below and I will reach out to you. Or you can email me at theinexperiencedguide@gmail.com and I will be sure to respond. Thank you.